all the gurus out there are lying to you about finding your purpose. How do I know? Because I believed their BS lies too. So it's okay. But then I met Jay, who taught me the 5 lies that everyone is telling you about finding your purpose. And lie number 5 is really annoying and really pisses me off. You're going to have to stay till the end to find out what it is, and I bet it annoys you too. Lie number 1, your passion or your hobby is your purpose. So then I should just make more cards than Hallmark and sell them all to find my purpose. Yeah? Since my hobby's card making?
Yeah, when you put it that way, it sounds pretty silly. And the thing about this lie, like most lies, is that it has a hint of truth in it. Many people do feel lost in life, and then when they discover what they're really good at and passionate about and able to invest a lot of time into, whether it's a passion or a hobby or a career or whatever, end up feeling much more focused and driven and certain and not so lost. And so they will run around proclaiming, when you find the thing you love, you'll find your purpose and you'll never feel lost again. But if this worked for everyone, there wouldn't be anyone saying, I feel no purpose or I have no purpose or I can't find my purpose. Every parent and job and teacher and university would be teaching everybody, find your passion or hobby and you'll have a sense of purpose and the world can be awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We all discovered that 1 + 1 = 2. And so now everyone teaches that.
True.
It works. It's great. It's solid until you get into really ridiculous, abstract, irrational stuff. So what we want to find is a model of purpose that works for everyone. Because if it works for everyone, then it's solid and reliable and we can start teaching it to everyone.
Right.
Just like 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
So some people say purpose is this single thing that you find, your passion or your hobby. Others say life has no purpose, it's meaningless or do whatever. But my model combines those two and reconciles them and shows a way for either of these two types of people to find their purpose. Because in my model, purpose is not a thing that you find, it's a feeling that you tune into over and over, moment by moment. So anyone can have a sense of purpose. And some people, when they find their favorite hobby, do feel a sense of purpose. But does that mean those people will always have a sense of purpose forever? They're never going to question their faith or their career. They're never going to wonder, oh, should I be doing this? They're never going to close their YouTube channel and switch professions or anything like that?
No.
Right. Because purpose is a feeling that comes and goes.
Yeah. It's not something you find once and forever.
Right. So in my model, purpose is a feeling that you continually refine. And if you picture life as a giant ocean of possibilities, or a grid of possibilities of dots, like a grid of dots. And each dot is a possibility for you, or a reality for you, or a choice for you.
Right.
So you could start out as a baby, not knowing your purpose or whatever. And then you'll feel a sense of purpose once you start learning to walk. Because the next dot on that grid or possibility for you that's going to be fulfilling is learning to walk. Mm-hmm. If you stay in your crib and refuse to learn to walk, maybe you don't feel that sense of purpose.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So then you learn to walk and now you have no sense of purpose again. What now? So then the next milestone might be learning to talk. And if you start to do that, you'll start to feel that sense of purpose. Oh, I feel good. This is working for me. I'm on track.
Right.
And then you get that sense of purpose back and you really throw yourself into your new passion of learning to talk.
Yeah.
And then the next milestone might be learning to draw. And so you get crayons and it puts you on purpose. But if you try to avoid any of these milestones and go a different direction, you can. You have the total free will to do that. Mm-hmm. No one's making you do them ever. You could refuse your whole life. You could be a mute child and refuse to learn to talk your whole life. And maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't, but it's just an example. Everyone has different milestones. I'm not saying we all have to learn to walk or we all have to learn to talk.
Right.
They're just an example. But the point is, there are some milestones in this giant ocean of possibilities of your life that are going to feel fulfilling to you. Your soul knows it. Your soul knew it before it came here. Your soul can develop new milestones along the way. And it's constantly providing you these little milestones that you can aim for. And as soon as you start moving towards them, you get that sense of purpose. That sense of purpose is the reward for moving towards your milestone. You also have the freedom to go off willy-nilly on some crazy tangent and avoid your milestone forever. You know what? I'm never going to learn to talk. Screw this. And you might end up more and more miserable and lost. And I feel struggling in my life and why can't I do? It's like, maybe you should have just learned to talk, dude. Like, as soon as you start trying, you're going to feel that sense of purpose again.
Well, this makes sense.
Well, so this does make sense. Now, the people who believe we have some purpose that we have to find can go find their milestones and they'll feel a sense of purpose. And the people that feel that life is nothing and there is no purpose can go off willy-nilly and go into any possibility of life they want, but they're going to feel less fulfilled. And if they try moving towards those milestones, they're going to feel that sense of purpose again, even the ones who think it doesn't exist.
Right. So just to be clear then, I just want to make sure that I understand what you're saying. When I was homeschooling and stayed home with the children, I felt a sense of purpose. Like, this is what I was meant to do. But when my oldest graduated and my youngest was kind of fighting me and pushing back against it. And I put him in public school in 6th grade. And I started really focusing on our first book together. And then I started to feel a different kind of sense of purpose. But homeschool no longer felt like that for me anymore. And so was it because I was reaching the next milestone, which was becoming an entrepreneur and helping people? Okay.
You tell me.
I mean, that's what I didn't know before, but your explanation makes me feel like that's correct. Like, it makes sense. No wonder. So when I stopped homeschooling, it felt better, but I still felt like I knew it was the right choice, but I didn't really know. And then when we started working on the book, I started feeling that again, that sense of purpose. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be helping people like this. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, and each step of our relationship and our businesses, then when we went to Rise Gear, more and more and more, and Rise Kink and even more. So until here. So, and this feels the most like my purpose, my reason.
Sure. Makes total sense to me. Once you get the hang of walking, you don't stop walking, but you don't feel the same sense of purpose exploring it. Yeah. So you start exploring talking.
Right.
And then you feel that sense of purpose again. But once you've mastered talking, you don't sit down and think, this is my career. I'm going to commit to talking for the rest of my life. I mean, you will talk for the rest of your life, but you're not going to feel the same sense of purpose. You're going to feel a sense of purpose on a new mile. Right. So for homeschooling, you can keep homeschooling, fine, whatever.
Right.
But your new sense of purpose is going to come from the next milestone. And whether your soul knew that when it came to Earth, here's X amount of milestones, or whether you generated the milestones as you lived life, a new milestone keeps getting put in front of you somewhere in the possibility space, somewhere in all the experiences reality has to offer. And you're going to feel good when you move towards that. You're going to feel that sense of purpose. And when you get bored of it or master it or get the hang of it or you've learned enough, you're not going to feel the same sense of purpose. Right now, you feel a sense of purpose with this podcast. Will you forevermore? I don't know. Maybe it will become like, I still do the podcast every day. I'm happy to do it, but I'm really looking forward to getting on stage. That feels good. I feel a sense of purpose. Like, everyone has their milestones, and the milestones don't even have to be good. When you got divorced, did you feel a sense of purpose when you moved towards the divorce?
Yes.
And did you feel a sense of listlessness and lost confusion when you tried to stay in the relationship and aimed away from the divorce?
Yes.
So even a divorce could be someone's fulfilling purpose.
Yes.
Could be their next milestone.
Well, that's a really good example, yeah.
Same for kids. Doesn't have to be walking and talking that's their next milestone. It could be getting burned by a stove burner.
Yeah.
Most kids will do this. They will touch something hot
Yeah.
and it will hurt in the short term, but their soul knows, I need this to learn what life is. I need this to understand hot and cold. I can't be some weird bubble boy trapped in a bubble who touches nothing. I need to interact with the world and become strong and hardy and robust. And I need to learn what this stuff is. And so even though everyone around me is saying, don't, it's my purpose. And I'm going to feel good once I do this. And so it burns itself. It never touches it again. It cries for a split second, but it's like, now I know the world. Like, this was part of my purpose.
Right.
And it happens from birth. We've all got these milestones that we're moving towards, and they're different for everyone. And they could be bad looking. You were a heroin addict who overdosed. I was homeless. I look back now and I see it clearly as part of my purpose. And I can see that life was pushing me towards it over and over. And I can see how it helped me a million times. And I can see how I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I also see how it was a milestone that I was aiming away from and avoiding. And I didn't feel purpose when I aimed away from it. When I finally gave in and embraced it, I felt on track.
Same. Exact same. Once I was like, all right, well, this is my life. And then I overdosed and I realized, okay, this is maybe not for me. And getting clean and where most people find this extremely hard, it felt right. It was, and I'm not saying like, oh, I didn't ever crave it or I didn't, but the idea of getting clean when I was using was harder than actually doing it because of what you said. I felt a sense of purpose. This is my next step. This is where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to go down this route. So, and I'm so grateful. I wouldn't change any of that for anything.
Yeah. And it's not just me and you.
Yeah.
You can literally bring me anyone and I'll show you how they don't have a sense of purpose when they're going away from milestone X, Y, or Z. And I'll show you how that sense of purpose comes right back when they start moving towards it. And you're allowed to take a long route and a scenic route. Like your life is your own. You have the free will to do whatever you want. And no one will ever make you come back to these milestones. But you might not feel much purpose when you're like off over here.
Yeah, when you're off in the weeds and doing something completely, when you're far from your milestone.
Yeah, and the people who feel the most purpose in their lives are the ones who jump from milestone to milestone very quickly and directly, and they don't fight it. Like, okay, now's the time to get divorced. Okay, now's the time to find a new person. Now it's time to switch industries. Now it's time to let go of a job. Like, they just do it. And those people, they're like, yeah, I'm on track, man. Like, I'm on purpose. I don't feel lost. I know what I'm doing. I jumped wholeheartedly into this, and now it doesn't serve me anymore, and I'm jumping wholeheartedly into that. And not everyone lives that way, but if you do, you will find a lot of purpose.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. When we broke up, I stopped feeling my sense of purpose. Even before, like leading up to the actual breakup, I started feeling less and less like this was for me. And I thought, okay, well, I guess I have to give up my person and my business and everything. But when I did, it felt awful. The moment the door closed and you were like, all right, bye, I'm gone. Immediately that sense of any purpose was gone. So even though I felt like less and less, it completely vanished when you walked out. So, and then when we started talking and still working on the podcast, it was like 2 days of like nothing, of feeling horrible and alone and empty and purposeless. And I could not see a milestone anywhere nearby. And the moment I was like, all right, I'm just going to work to feel better, because that's always made me feel better. I'm just going to work. I felt it again.
Makes total sense. But we could do the same thing for any audience member. We could do it for your children. We could do it for my family. We could do it for anyone.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, thank you so much. That's awesome. And that's an annoying lie. I'm glad we talked about it then. Lie number 2, just try things and you'll figure it out. Well, I tried drawing and painting and multiple businesses and failed them because I didn't figure it out just by trying things. So how long do I have to pay for lessons or fail businesses before I will figure it out?
That's a great question. Like the other lie, this does have a hint of truth in it. For example, how many people on the planet do you think discover their purpose without stepping outside their comfort zone and being open to new experiences in life?
Probably not many.
Yeah, I don't think any.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if you found me someone who stayed in a bubble, stayed in a comfort zone, refused to try new things, was not open to anything in life, but somehow had discovered a great sense of purpose. I would be shocked.
Yeah, I don't think any.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
Same.
That's insane to me. So there's a hint of truth here. I guess you do have to try new things to find your purpose. Yeah, yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
The advice to just try things is kind of like someone telling you, just try every drug that exists to find the one you like.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a little silly.
Right.
No one on earth needs to try every drug that exists to find the one they like, or try every food that exists to find the one you like. No one on earth needs to try every single food on planet Earth to find the ones they like. It's a very inefficient way to find your purpose.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
If I told you you had to rent every single house in your country or on the planet for a night and sleep in the bed to find the house you like, that would be insane.
Yeah.
Or you had to date everyone to find right. But the advice, just randomly try things, is basically saying that.
Yeah.
Because if you just randomly try things, you might not get to the right thing until a long time.
True. Very true.
Like maybe some people just try things and they find it on the third thing. Great, it worked. But then some other people aren't going to find it on the third thing. There's no rule that says everyone discovers it on the third thing. So some of them might take infinity tries.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
So what does this mean with our paths and milestones and tangents? Like life and nature obviously don't want a species where no one knows their path, no one is fulfilled, no one is in their passion, no one's doing what they love, and humanity just creates nothingness. Like we have no inventors and we have no nothing. Like we have no evolution or accomplishments or greatness or world records. We have no one pushing or striving or ambition because everyone can't find their purpose. So the system, the model is like, it makes sense that it's designed to have a more efficient way of finding our purpose. No?
Right. So perhaps it's following our feelings and listening to our gut intuition, but we have to try some stuff to know. Like if I hadn't messaged you, I wouldn't know that it was easy to talk to you. Or if I hadn't moved here, I wouldn't know how much I love Canada or how easy business is, or any of the great things that have happened since I got here. But I had to like take the chance.
Right. But would you say you took all those chances because someone told you just try things and you took it to heart and just tried things?
No, I just followed my feelings.
Yeah. So it's more like you followed some internal guidance on what to try.
Yeah.
As a baby, you knew I should try walking, I should try talking, I should try touching the hot burner.
Yeah.
It's all going to help me in.
Right.
As a teenager, you were like, I should try drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Most people would say that's a terrible idea. You know it was part of your purpose, and it did help you out.
It did, yes.
And now you can help many other people who struggle with drugs and addictions.
Right.
And then your internal guidance suggested you write me or move to Toronto or whatever. And then you tried those things out too. So this is where the lie comes in. Like, technically you are trying things out.
Yeah, but not.
But to me, this advice just confuses people.
Yeah, because in the way they say it, it's like, just like close your eyes and randomly pick something.
Yeah.
And what it really is not randomly pick something. It's what are you being called to do? Like, what are things that you already like to do that can lead to other things?
Yeah, and it's not just that, because there are signs. Like, you recently started connecting more with people and marketing harder and being more out there.
Yeah.
But you told me as a child, your teachers told you that you never shut up, and it was your main problem. And that you like to gossip and talk with people and gab and gift of gab and all this stuff.
Yes.
So the sign was there that you'd make a good marketer and promoter and connector. So it's not try random things. It's like, try what you're clearly leaning towards. Yao Ming is like super tall. It's like, maybe try basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You're like one of...
Try what you're kind of set up for.
Yeah. Especially like even in that example, how tall is he? 7 foot, 6, whatever. Like he's a 7 foot something. How many Asian people are tall like that to be in that sport? I mean, I know there's more than him, but if there's a million in the world of an 8 billion, then maybe those million are meant for that.
Yeah. Or maybe the opposite. Ethan Suplee was like 600-700 pounds or something. Now he's a personal trainer.
Yeah.
It's like, true. You might think, oh, he's not the right person to do this. But even being at the opposite end of the extreme might perfectly equip you to do that. Because I was cursed with this overweight and health problem, like now I'm going to solve it for me. And now I can help other people make that same journey and so on. But you can see that there's something there. So when we try things, we can try where there's something there, something calling us internally, externally, the signs are there. So you're not just trying random things.
That makes sense. So yeah, if I was super quiet and like never talk to anybody, then it really maybe marketing isn't the best.
Well, it still could be. Like with Ethan Suplee, you might be the introvert marketer who teaches people how to go from super shy to out there.
All right.
What's less likely is if you were just a random average Joe who was like sort of extroverted, sort of introverted, didn't really have a passion either way. Like now you're not geared for anything. You're just like in the middle. But someone who's super introverted might become a great marketer, or someone who's super gabby might become a great marketer.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But if someone's just some blah in the middle and they're not heavily weighted either way on that subject, their purpose probably lies somewhere else, like somewhere where they're more extreme, like they're an extreme athlete or something, like they're very athletic or they're very lethargic. Like if you look for the extremes in your life, where you're above average or below average, your purpose often resides there. I'm not saying it has to, and ultimately you can just follow your internal calling.
Of course.
Even if you're in the middle and you're called to something, go try it. My point is, just try things is pretty lame advice. It steers people wrong. It's practically an outright lie because life doesn't work that way where you just try random things. And if you want to find your milestones, you can just try the things that you're being called to already. You know, everyone knows deep down what they're being called to. And if you're super anxious or depressed or whatever, and you don't have any callings, this means that you're out of tune with your intuition muscles. They're out of practice. They're rusty. You've allowed your energy levels to drop too low in life. You weren't always like that. You weren't a zero energy infant who had no intuition. As an infant, you had a lot of energy and you had quite a lot of intuition. So they've been allowed to drop. We have a whole episode on that. I believe it's the Do What You Love episode. Teaches people how to practice their intuition muscles and start finding what they love. It's very related to purpose.
Yes.
Or maybe how to be happy in a shitty world. I think that episode also covers it. But the point is, all of us have a built-in internal guidance system whether we use it or not, whether we're rusty with it or not, that will let us know if we're moving towards our purpose or towards our milestones or away from them. And you're welcome to go away from them for a long time and try to fight whatever divorce or addiction or homelessness or weight loss or marketing or whatever is secretly calling you. But you're eventually going to have to come back to it. And when you do, you're going to feel that charge and you're going to be like, I can't believe I waited so many years to do this or whatever.
Yeah, that's how I feel now with marketing.
Sure. So. But you could have been following your purpose from the beginning. Totally possible. Not everyone does, and I'm not blaming or criticizing, but it was totally possible. You absolutely could have followed your purpose earlier.
Thank you. That's good. You're the best. So what you said was perfect for my next question. Lie number 3 is it's easy and I'll just know. Yeah. I'll just know. I wake up one day and I know. Oh, well, so I'm just going to wash dishes. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to find out, right? I'll know.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like the Holy Grail would just come down from above and give you your purpose. You'll just know. No, obviously that's a lie. You won't just know. Or you know what? This one is closest to the truth, I think, because that feeling of knowing is important and it's how we make a lot of our decisions, a lot of our important decisions. And like I just said, everyone has access to this kind of intuition where we just know something or we can tell if we're on track or if it's part of our purpose or if it's meant to be. But like I said, it's a muscle. It's your intuition muscle. And just like anything in life, someone with weak muscles is going to struggle when they try to accomplish this task. Someone with weak intuition muscles will never just know, or maybe once in a decade, they're going to just know.
Well, I think too, also people with weak intuition muscles don't trust their intuition. They don't know what that's like.
Sure. And people with weak muscles in the gym don't trust that they can pick up a heavy weight and they want 50 spotters and they're scared to try hard and they don't know what's going to happen and whatever.
Right.
Someone who's been in the gym for a while knows, like, whatever, I can drop it on the safety bars. It's whatever. Or one spotter is enough, or I'll know what to do.
Yeah.
So either way, how are you going to just know if career path or a hobby or a choice or a person is part of your purpose if you can't even tell whether you want to drink or not? You can't even tell whether you should get out of bed and get water or lay around in bed and stay comfortable. If you can't even tell the tiniest impulse from your intuition and act on it quickly, how on earth are you going to know for bigger, more important, more life-changing things?
It's a good question.
With higher stakes and more involved.
Very good question.
If should I quench my thirst is actually an anxiety-producing decision for you and you can't sort it out and you hum and haw about it for 20 minutes before deciding what to do, how is that person going to know their purpose when they're choosing a job or choosing a home or choosing a country to live in or choosing a life partner?
Yeah, they don't.
Right. And so these people are people who were born with energy and intuition, like I said, and their intuition muscles are reasonably decent, but they've allowed them to atrophy through misuse. They've allowed their parents to make decisions. They've stopped trusting their heart. They've done so many shoulds and they've people pleased so long. They're just waiting for a sign from someone else. Like if I do something, it will please somebody or I'll get some props from society. They're long done listening to their intuition. They won't even get a drink of water if it might upset somebody or bother someone in the next room or something, or if they have to get out of their comfort zone. But when they were young, they would listen to their intuition for everything. If their intuition said touch the hot burner, they would do it. But where's the trust now? Where's that gone? Where's their intuition muscle strength now? And so when they want to navigate the ocean of possibilities that life has, their milestones are out there just like all of us. We all have our soul milestones or our fulfilling purpose milestones that are calling us. And when we move towards them, we're going to feel that sense of purpose. But they can barely hear that calling. They can barely tell. And what's louder in their heart and mind and ears is the callings of other people. So they have a whole extra level of practice to do before they can even find their purpose. They have to spend days like practicing their intuition muscle,
right?
Learning how to do what they love every moment, learning how to trust their intuition moment to moment, learning how to have that feeling of knowing more than once a decade. But that only comes with the leaps of faith, the practice, the getting out of your comfort zone, the standing up for yourself, the setting boundaries and watching what happens, trusting your heart and seeing what happens. Like you have to start doing what you want little by little, even if it loses your support system or people hate you for it or whatever, right? You have to start practicing this stuff. When you do that, you can then get back to finding your purpose because now your intuition muscles are recalibrated. They're back to working how they used to when you were young. And now when you do something or try something or whatever, you just know if it's the right thing or not.
Okay, fair play.
When you were out of tune with your intuition muscles and you were doing the wrong thing, somewhere deep down in your heart or in your mind, I'm sure there was a little voice telling you, like, this is not the way.
Yeah.
This is unnecessary pain. This is going off on a tangent in life, and your milestone's way over here. You're going away from Jay Rise, and you should be going closer to him. You guys are meant to be together. This is a good milestone for you. This is a good milestone for you. Stick around with him long. Or maybe it was vice versa. Maybe the milestone was separating, kind of like a hot stove, and you actually did feel a sense of purpose when you separated from me. I don't know, but the point is, whatever you did, there was some little voice in the back of your head either telling you to do it and it will be fulfilling, or it was telling you like avoid it and stay people pleasing.
It's interesting because up until the moment, I always say that when the door closed, so we spent the whole day together. We broke up in the morning right after breakfast and we spent the whole day together. We weren't arguing. We talked a lot and we hugged and I cried and whatever. And it wasn't until the door closed when you finally took your stuff and you left and you're like, okay, I'm leaving. And I needed to lock the door because I took your key. And I went upstairs and you kissed me right before, and then I closed the door. And the moment that door closed, that feeling that of like this was the right thing to do stopped. Like I knew it was wrong.
Yeah, but all along the journey, was your intuition telling you go towards this? This is a great thing, or was it telling you like, what are you doing, honey?
No, it was telling me to do this.
So then maybe the separation was a good milestone, just like your drug overdose or getting divorced. Like maybe they were important milestones. I don't know.
They definitely. Well,
I don't judge. You see
no,
what I'm saying?
I know you don't. And it was because you leaving was what set off extreme fast change for me.
Great.
Like I had stagnated for how long? Like a really long time.
Yeah.
And then
and you stagnated around a grower. Like
And so it felt bad. And so it took that for me to actually move towards the things I really
So your
wanted.
soul knew that was a milestone you needed, like touching a hot stove or getting a divorce.
Yeah.
All good, fine. But my point is, if you had not had years of practice with your intuition muscles, would you trust that? Or would you cling to the relationship for another 5-10 years
I would have
and not do the separation? This is what most people do. The people pleasers do this. They're not into their intuition. And even though their heart's telling them separate, it's all going to work out, which it did.
Yes.
They would fight it.
Yeah.
And so they would get further from that milestone and they're going to feel less purpose until they finally give in, like, fine, I give up on this relationship, I'm separating. And then they get the reunion and it all works out. And their soul's like, see, told you, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
because
that milestone's been calling you for years.
Well, yeah, because those first 2 days, I felt so lost and so depressed. And I had such a hard time because I sat here and did nothing.
Sure, but 2 days of depression is not the end of the world.
No, of course not. I've been through years of it.
So if it transforms you, worth.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was like, okay, well, he's not coming back. I have to do something for myself. And then everything
And that's what
changed.
I wanted you to do the whole time. Always do stuff for yourself.
Well, I appreciate you so very much. And I'm glad we had to go through that to get to where we are now because our relationship is much better, stronger. Our business is doing well. I feel amazing. I've had a lot of change. I zipped up my jeans. There's so many great things that came from it.
Keep it up. And the it's easy part, I didn't really address it, but real quick, anyone who says it's easy is right, but there's a brackets. It's easy, brackets, for people with strong intuition muscles who've practiced this a lot.
Yeah.
Because it is. Once you've practiced this and you've got your intuition down, you take a drink when you want, you go home when you want, you leave work when you want, you do what the hell you want, and you trust your intuition, it becomes very easy to find your purpose. It is easy.
Yes.
But by the same token, it ain't easy, brackets, for people with weak, atrophied, rusty intuition muscles who haven't practiced.
Yeah.
So, and then it's super hard. And there's a big difference because when you're talking to an audience, some of the audience is going to be out of practice with weak intuition muscles and it ain't going to feel easy for them. They have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of practice to do. That's life. You got to grow. You got to work out in the gym. I don't care. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You want to get the hang of finding your purpose. You got to start working on your intuition and learning how to just know things, little things and big things. And then for the other part of the audience who have practiced this and they're good at listening to their heart and they're good at following their flow and they're good with their intuition muscles, for them, it's going to be relatively easy to find their purpose. So I hope that explains it.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. And I'm glad you added that bit about the easy because in the beginning, when I was first started my journey, it felt really hard, but I didn't know how to trust my intuition and I didn't understand it. And now I've come so far, level 20, that I understand this. And now it feels easy and it's like, duh.
And everyone knew as a kid.
Yeah.
So
and as a kid, we all could do
technically,
this.
y'all already know.
Yeah. We all have to just tap back
It's like riding a bike.
Right. We have to tap back into that memory that we've hidden for so long because we all knew how to instinctively do this. We all listened to our intuition as a kid. We all learned how easy it was back then, and we can again. So.
Yeah. Kids do amazing things, and they're great at finding their purpose and growing fast from milestone to milestone to milestone.
Yeah.
They have no problem.
Exactly.
Eventually we lose it, and then we have to figure it out again, strengthen our muscles again.
The cool thing is about that is that it never goes away.
No.
It's always there in our minds.
Yep.
It's always there in our muscles and in our body. So it's not hard to find. So yay. Thank you. And that was a fresh view on lies. And this is your sponsored break. Because we're talking about Eyes Wide Open Volume 1. We are giving away free copies of our beautiful book. It's the world's first self-help coffee table book. It's all original artwork by Jay Rise. And in it are all the concepts that I use to lose over 100 pounds, become drug-free, a happy, positive, loving person, and get all my mental health shit in order. And I quit 6 panic attacks a day, no more depression, and no more manic episodes. Thanks to all the concepts that Jay taught me. So get your free copy. The link is in the description, or go to eyeswideopenfree.com. We love you. Lie number 4. There is no such thing as purpose, or AKA just be happy. So just be happy. Since the world is a terrible, shitty place and I have no idea how to be happy, I guess it's over for me and I should just give up and die, right?
I've considered it.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. This one is often taught by Eastern gurus. The East is really big on having no purpose. They're like, no desire, no life, no purpose, just be this kind of thing.
That's Buddhist thing, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the Eastern gurus will tell you this. If you go YouTube any Eastern gurus, there is no purpose and just be happy is a common thing they're going to teach. Most of the Western gurus will teach you about purpose. Find your purpose. Mm-hmm. This is because the Western culture and vibe is much more focused on individual achievement and ambition and having a purpose and having a calling and so on. And the East is much more focused on communal living and like spiritual harmony and so on. And achievement and individual achievement for them it's not really a big thing. Mm-hmm. But like I said in the beginning, they're both kind of wrong because the real model includes both. The real model is there's a giant ocean of possibilities on Earth and you have the free will to go anywhere, any way. And as long as you can find happiness, you're welcome to go any path through life. I don't care. So the East is right. Yeah, you can go any way. There is no purpose. Right?
Right. Okay.
As long as you're being happy.
Right.
But the thing with that is the milestones still exist, even if you're an Eastern person. I don't care who you are. If you're a kid born on Earth, you have those milestones lined up ahead of you. And as you grow, you keep getting different milestones, more milestones calling you. And as you move towards them, you'll feel a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
You'll feel I'm on track. This is the right thing. And the Eastern gurus might call that happiness and the West might call it feeling on purpose, but it doesn't really matter. They're still talking about the same thing of getting closer to your milestones and that feeling of fulfillment. And the words are all whatever. Whereas the West will talk about finding your purpose and finding your calling and doing what you're meant to do and achieving your goals and stuff like that. But what are goals? They're just milestones in your life that you're aiming for. I'd like to get out of this relationship and into a new relationship. Oh, you're aiming for divorce.
Right.
I'd like to fit in with my friends. Oh, you're aiming for drug addiction. Like, I'd like to get clean now. Now you're aiming to get clean. Like, whatever, right? Yes. Like goals and milestones and just being happy and feeling on purpose. They're like all the same thing from the same model. And both sides are talking about it from a different angle, but it's all the same thing. Right. Like I always teach about the third way, right?
You do?
The synthesis, like dialectics, like the third way. And the model I propose of life as an ocean of possibilities or a grid of possibilities. Actually, that grid is stolen from Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. But whatever, this possibility scape dotted with milestones that are going to feel good to each individual, that are personal to each individual. Mm-hmm. And then having the free will to chart your own course around them or to them or near some of them or away from all of them or whatever. That's it. That's life. That's the beauty. And everyone's emotional guidance system has the potential to guide them to that feeling of on purpose. Some of them will be out of practice and their emotional guidance will be uncalibrated and they'll need some work to do first, but it's doable. Others will be quite in tune with their emotions and their guidance, and they'll be able to get easily on track and on purpose. Right. But I don't care if you're from the East or the West or the North or the South. It's all the same. It works for anybody. You can try this with anybody. It will work for them. Bring me somebody and I will show you. They have some milestones that they've been avoiding and they're lost and they're not on, and they have an intuition that's kind of calling them, but they're out of practice or whatever. And eventually, if they start moving towards those milestones, that feeling of on purpose will come right back.
So I have a question, but I just was curious. So you've talked about it a couple times where when you move away from your milestone or your purpose, it starts to feel bad and not good and whatever. And when you move closer to it, you start to feel that sense of purpose again and you feel good. So do the people who suffer from depression and anxiety, does that mean if they're moving away from their milestone and their purpose?
Often, yes. A huge percentage of the time, yes. But since the milestones can be anything and they're individual to anyone and they can even be something bad, someone's milestone might be 6 months of depression or a year of depression. Yeah. Like they might need to experience depression to launch their new career, to help other people get out of depression, to become a depression counselor. And now they're on purpose and they look back on it and they're like, man, it's a good thing I was depressed for that year or whatever. Like it could be you're supposed to head towards the depression a little bit. Like, no, I can't tell you. Every individual is their own. This is why it's so important we get in tune with our intuition muscles and learn to tell what's really for us and really not. Because no one outside can ever guide you. You might be meant to be depressed for a little while. It can happen. It's allowed. There are people who are allowed to be depressed and it's going to be a great thing for them. I was homeless for 2.5 years, but it was a great thing for me. It was allowed. Yeah. And if anyone tried to talk me out of it or prevent me from it, they would be preventing me from my purpose.
It makes total sense. Okay. Because for years I spent 27, whatever many years in therapy, right? In and out of mental hospitals. The depression cycle for me, the down cycle lasted so much longer than the up cycle. And now I understand because here I am, a mental health advocate, helping people with their mental health, teaching them through my experiences, sharing it with the world. And if you had told me when I was 16, 17, 22, 27, that suffering I was feeling in the moment was a good thing and this would help other people.
Well, no one wants to hear that.
Of course someone wants to hear that, but I would have been like, no, you're horrible. Oh my God. But now looking back, that makes total sense for me.
Well, and potentially it didn't have to last 27 years.
No,
milestones usually don't last 27 years.
No.
You just have to experience them. One mental hospital or one depression or one therapist is enough. Like, you probably could have taken that and then moved on to the next milestone and felt a sense of purpose again.
Yes.
But I don't know. Maybe it was a 27-year milestone. And if you told me I felt on purpose for all 27 years, I'd be like, all right, then do you. But if you said to me, I felt like it was good that I went in and I got something out of it, but I didn't feel on purpose for the next 2 decades.
Yeah.
I would believe it. Like,
yeah, I did not. That's why I said, if you had told me during the rough times and the rough years and the lowest points, there's just, no, I wasn't meant to be like that for so long.
Yeah. Well, there were times when I wasn't on purpose either and I was miserable.
There's a lot of people out there that think that their purpose is to suffer. It's not that it has something good on the other end, that it's just that they're so bad and so horrible and they deserve to be weird. Suffering.
No.
But I want to make that clear that this is not what we're saying.
No, obviously not. Like anyone who's feeling that way doesn't feel on purpose.
Yeah.
That feeling of I'm fulfilled and I'm happy and I'm on purpose is what comes when you move towards those milestones.
Yeah.
So you might feel that for your first visit to the mental hospital, like, oh, I'm getting attention or this is something or whatever. I made an impact, but you probably won't feel it very long. And you should be moving on to the next milestone that makes you feel better. Like now I'm going to become a mental health advocate, or I'm never going to let this happen again, or whatever. Like, and now I'm on purpose again. I don't think I've ever met anyone who felt on purpose suffering for 27 years. Like, and I try to tell them, stop suffering. And they're like, no, man, I'm on purpose. Like, I feel good. So the people like who are sort of sad and upset about it, it's like, y'all are on purpose. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Your purpose is to suffer? That's insane. Like,
No.
obviously not. You don't feel on purpose, do you?
No.
No.
If
But it must be my purpose. No, it not
No,
must
no.
be. What do you feel? Like,
Yeah.
so
if it was your purpose, you would feel good.
Yeah.
And you would feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And you would be happy with it.
just like as a child, when you touch the hot stove, there's that little hint of glee where you know you're doing the right thing. And I need to do this.
Yes.
And I'm not letting any uncle or aunt or babysitter stop me.
I know it's hot, you guys, but I gotta do
It's
it.
part of my purpose.
Yeah.
And they don't feel miserable inside. And then they cry for a split second, whatever, and then they get back to life and they're on to the next milestone.
Yeah.
So it's the same when you're adult. Like, even if your purpose is something bad, like homelessness or overdosing, it's going to feel like a relief. It's going to feel like the right thing. And
Yeah. Yeah. That makes total sense.
when I stopped scrambling and looking for houses and looking for shelter, and I was just like, screw it. It was like a weight off my shoulders. I mean, the next 2.5 years, maybe I wasn't on purpose, but saying yes to that was on purpose.
Yeah.
Felt good. Just like for you separating from me. It felt good that moment. Maybe it sucked for the next 2 weeks or whatever, but you know you did the right thing. You knew it was your intuition. You knew it was part of your purpose.
Well, you have an interesting story about how you were homeless and you walked away from money. Like, somebody was paying you and giving you money and you were like, nah, dude, F you, because it felt right to you. In the moment, it felt that you had to do the right thing for you. And you did. Where other people would be like, oh my God, no, I'm homeless. I need money and I can't. And you were like, nah, forget this. And it turned out to be the right thing because you got more money and you had you found a place to live. And
it was a huge turnaround.
And yeah, it was a huge turnaround for you. So
yeah, and I did it countless times. Yeah. I said no to money. I said no to shelter. I said no to gifts. I said no to everything. I don't care. Like, I'd rather be homeless than deal with y'all. I was collaborating with a team too, couple teams, and they were disrespecting me, so I just left too. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all think I need you? Like, just because I'm homeless? Screw you. And I felt good every time. Like, I felt like it was the right thing to do. I was pulling my weight. I was doing the right thing. If people are going to step up and cross boundaries, screw you.
Yeah.
And I win. Like, y'all lose. Like, they get taught a lesson and things still work out for me. Yeah. That's how it always goes. If you follow your heart, if you follow your intuition, if you stay on purpose. And it takes practice. And sometimes we slip up. It happens.
All right. Well, thank you. That's great and super helpful. And thanks for answering my questions. You're amazing. And now we're finally at the most annoying one, lie number 5, which is everything clicks when you find your purpose. Well, I found my purpose is to have amazing conversations with you and to help other people rise up themselves and their lives. But I'm not a millionaire yet. So what's up with that?
Yeah, that sounds good for marketing. It sounds good for appealing to a crowd. When you find your purpose, everything clicks and life is super easy paradise. Mm-hmm. Great salesmanship. But like you said, it's a lie. It might hold up if the very narrow view of finding your purpose was true, where you find your passion and your hobby and your career, and then you're set for life. Mm-hmm. Which again, this only works for a handful of people, and it's not even true because they still end up with struggles.
Right.
And they still end up questioning their purpose at certain times in their career. So a lot of them even pivot.
Yeah.
So what makes more sense? That purpose is a single thing that every individual comes to Earth to find. And once they've found that single thing, paradise clicks in and they never have to grow, struggle, self-assess, introspect, meditate, or face life again. They're set. They're on purpose. Or my model, where every human being has an ocean of possibilities in front of them, a few key milestones here and there that when they move towards them, they're going to feel fulfilled, and the free will to take a long route to it, or to go away from it entirely, or to go beeline towards it and follow their heart. Like, which model of purpose makes more sense to you?
Yours.
Yeah.
Yours, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with mine, you can feel that sense of on purpose when you move towards a milestone, big or small. Maybe it's just like going for a walk and now you feel more sense of purpose. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like ditching your life partner and going a different route. Now you feel more sense of purpose. I don't know. But as you hit each milestone, like learning to walk or learning to talk, now the sense of purpose fades a little, as it should. You already did that. You did that milestone. You hit that thing. You felt good. You grew how you were supposed to grow. You learned what you were supposed to learn. And now, for another sense of purpose, there's another milestone out there calling you. And as you move towards it, you're going to feel good. This model allows for continual growth of a human being. This model allows for a continual sense of purpose and refinding purpose and more purpose. This model allows for the complexities of pathways through life, of navigating through life. The other model is like you came to Earth, someone set some goal or destiny you're supposed to have. As soon as you hit it, good, let's not talk again.
Yeah.
Which...
No, that doesn't feel like great at all. That feels ill.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just, that's why this is annoying to me. Yeah.
So, since purpose is not a thing, but a feeling that we're meant to keep refining and rediscovering moment to moment, who on earth is going to feel the most purpose? Someone who's out there trying to find their purpose, or someone who understands it's a feeling, and anytime they don't feel a sense of purpose, maybe it's time to check with their intuition, step out of their comfort zone, do a little something different, improve something. Maybe I'm supposed to write a different article or story. Maybe I'm supposed to stop writing altogether. Maybe I'm supposed to experiment with relaxation. Maybe I'm supposed to try a meditation retreat. Maybe I'm supposed to pick up marketing and connection because I'm such a chatty person. Like, maybe I've been hiding from my purpose this whole time. Someone who thinks those things is going to continually find more and more purpose. No, they're going to have a good life.
Agreed.
Whereas the other one is going to be miserable because they don't know this. They don't understand this. And they keep looking to find a single external thing as a purpose. And it's like, you might find it, but you're going to be miserable. You don't understand it's a feeling you have to keep rediscovering. Like breathing or eating. You have to keep feeding your body. You have to keep feeding your lungs. And you have to keep feeding your soul with the purpose milestones. Or you won't get that feeling. And if you don't keep feeding your body, you won't keep that health. That's how it should go, no? That's how life should go.
Agreed.
This makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful design. It's like how the rest of our life-sustaining things are designed. They are designed as regular systems that need continual maintenance and upkeep and care.
Right. Yeah.
Well, your sense of purpose is a similar system that needs continual upkeep and care. And as you're navigating through life, as long as you're doing it as best as you can towards those milestones, you're going to feel good and you're going to get the benefits of proper purpose diet, proper soul diet.
Right. Right. Well, that makes sense. And I have another question, again, not on my list, but for those people who know what their purpose is, but aren't doing it.
Know what their next milestone
like,
is?
they know what their next milestone.
Because their purpose
well, that's
is
what
a
I
feeling.
mean. Yeah. So they know, okay, so for an example, they know helping feed homeless people feels really good and it feels like they really should move towards that. But they're getting pressure from their family. They need to work and they need to make money.
Wait. Some people are pressuring others away from their true dreams and desires?
I know.
What?
Yeah, I know.
How do we handle this? Has anyone done an episode on this? If only some of our back catalog covered this in detail. I'm saying, man, this question comes up all the time, but it's a little bit kind of silly.
Well, the reason I ask is because we know somebody who has a massive purpose, a mission to help people and doesn't do it.
I know. Stay with me.
Okay.
It's a little silly because it's kind of like saying, how do I go play sports when the weather changes all the time? Like, rough life, dude? I guess you have to deal with the weather? I guess never play sports again?
No.
Right? This is what people say.
Okay,
If people said that, you would be like, that is ridiculous and silly. Step up. Yes. Be a human being, go solve it. Yeah. Hello, people have been dealing with this since caveman times. And so when people say, I want to follow my heart, or I know what my purpose is, but I'm getting pressured from outside, I'm like, yeah, and weather exists? What's your... You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone acts like it's like the end of the world, that they have to set boundaries and deal with shitty support systems and handle abusers. And I'm like, get an umbrella? Like... I don't complain that sometimes it snows and sometimes it rains and sometimes it's windy. Like, I have to deal with all this shit. It's part of life.
Yes.
Well, guess what? Part of life is setting boundaries and standing up for yourself and following your heart and dealing with outside pressures and shitty support systems and abusers. You gotta deal with it. You gotta figure it out. There's all the info on the world. If you wanted to figure it out, you could. You could Google, how do I deal with abusive families? How do I deal with people who don't support me? You don't have to find my videos even. You could just find any video. There's tons of people that will help you. And if you care about this, you're gonna put your head down, you're gonna knuckle down, you're gonna try what they say, and you're gonna get the hang of it. Because if you really want to play sports, you find a way around the weather. And if you really want to feel happy and live life and be on purpose, you have to find a way to deal with external pressures from crazy people.
Fair play. Okay. Yeah. Good. That's great. I love your honesty. I love your candidness. I love how you do not sugarcoat anything. And this is why I love you so much and how I've been able to learn so much from you. We've all of us have let people tell us candy coated lies for far too long, and people get upset and mad, and they don't want to hear the truth, and it hurts them so much. But my thing is terrible bad, like they're the worst. We had a comment today on one of the older videos about anxiety, and the comment was like, yeah, but my anxiety is like debilitating. And I was like, hey man, if you're happy with how you are, then you don't have to change. You don't have to do anything. You're set. Thank you for your input. And that's all. But because everyone feels like their thing is the worst.
Yeah. I can't play sports because my country has the worst weather. Like, okay, then don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's a fact that I saw in I think it was at Subconscious Thinkers on Instagram, but it was amazing. And it was, if you follow your heart and do what you want and set your boundaries and stand up for yourself, you might lose some people, but you will never lose real, kind, fulfilling humans who are meant to be in your life. You will only lose dead weight baggage who should never have been there in the first place. So if I see someone who won't stand up for themselves and won't set a boundary, that's just someone to me who says, I love dead weight baggage and boat anchors in my life. I want bullshit people in my life. I could let them go, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make sure these losers stick around. And I'm like, okay, fine. But fact of the matter is, you set boundaries and stand up for yourself. You're going to cut loose all the dead weight, and you're going to be free and light and have space to attract the real, heartfelt, fulfilling humans who are meant to be around you.
And those people will come to you. You will. When you make space for them to come in, they will come in.
Yeah, but you got to be alone first. You got to set boundaries first. You got to be a baller first. You got to be a baller human if you want baller results.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Thank you. That was awesome. You are the best.
You're the best.
Thank you so much for all of this, for helping me teach everyone else, for just making the world a better place. I love you so much.
I love you too.
So I have one last question. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with our amazing and wonderful audience?
Yes. Life is an ocean of possibilities, and there are some massively fulfilling milestones out there in your life that are going to feel amazing to you when you move towards them. At the same time, you have the freedom and free will to chart a course through your life that never goes anywhere near them. You have the freedom to choose a path that is a long, scenic route and eventually, after a bunch of misery, gets to them. And you have the free will to plot a beeline right towards them, like a baller, doing exactly what you want, following your intuition, and landing on those milestones, one after another after another. And your feeling of purpose is going to match exactly the path you choose. Same goes for a feeling of lack of purpose. You can choose not to believe me or say I don't have proof, but my metaphor for purpose is airtight and it explains everything that everyone's confused about. And if you actually apply it with a whole heart, you will discover it works 100% of the time. And the only time it doesn't is when people's intuition muscles are too weak or out of practice and they're habitually people-pleasing and refusing to set boundaries or follow their heart. And assuming you got that covered, it will work for you. So let's all get that feeling of purpose together as much as we can. Together we rise.
And that's why our book and this podcast are called Eyes Wide Open. And after today, you'll know the 5 lies that people are teaching about finding your purpose. So watch this video here called Why You Can't Do What You Love to help you practice your purpose and to help you keep your eyes wide open.
Keep rising.